What's going on, duelists? It's your boy Nick, bringing you game 2 of the incredibly one-sided live duel between Ursarctic and Chimera Melffy. If you watched game 1, you would have seen Ursarctic get absolutely bodied by Chimera Melffy. They were going second, which puts them already at a disadvantage, especially without siding, because it's game 1. But combine that with me whiffing on the Veiler, because the opponent just had the outs, and then also ripping a card out of my hand. He was in the driver's seat that whole time, and I was just kind of watching him do his thing. And yeah, sometimes it'd be like that. So we're in game 2 now of the live duel. I'll leave links in the description below for links to both deck profiles for the decks being featured here today. For those of you new to the channel, welcome. My name's Nick. We do Yu-Gi-Oh! Content mainly focused around rogue and casual decks alike. If that's the kind of Yu-Gi-Oh! That you're interested in, then I highly encourage you to subscribe to the channel. We just made it past our 1,000 subscriber benchmark, and we're slowly working our way towards hitting the 1,100 subscriber benchmark. But also, if you're new here and you're watching this, make sure you watch game 1 first, so this makes sense continuity-wise. I'll leave links in the description down below for game 1, like I said, as well as links for each profile. But with the intro out of the way, we are going to get started. So, because I lost game 1, I will be electing to go... I think I'll go first this time.
Okay, good luck.
Good luck to you as well. And with that being said, we'll start the timer. Guys, sit back. Hopefully you have some good snacks with you. And enjoy the live duel. Okay. Draw standby main.
Go for it.
Beautiful. Gonna kick things off by special summoning Chimera Fenrir. I can special him from hand if I control no monsters, and it's not even an activated effect. It's kind of like Cyber Dragon. I will then use his effect to search for a Chimera monster from deck to hand, which could even be another copy of himself. Which is exactly what it will be, because we're not playing any of the other Chimeras in this deck. So we'll go Fenrir, search Fenrir. Anything on res?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. Activate Ursarctic Radiation. That's going to place 7 counters on the card on activation. And each time an Ursarctic monster is special summoned from my hand or the extra deck, I remove 1 counter to draw 1 card. That is not once per turn. I can only control 1 Ursarctic Radiation. I will then activate... This is going to be tough. I'm going to activate Ursarctic McPolar in hand, tributing the Fenrir to special Polar. So, special summon Polar. I will then go Chainlink 1 Polar to search for an Ursarctic monster from deck to hand. Chainlink 2 Radiation, remove a counter. Since an Ursarctic was special from hand, I will draw a card. So we'll draw first, and then I will go ahead and grab an Ursarctic monster from the deck to our hand. Okay. I grab Ultimate Bright Knight Ursatron Alpha. That is a tongue twister mouthful if I've ever heard one. It's always treated as an Ursarctic and a Drytron card. I will then, because I control an Ursarctic monster, activate Ultimate Bright Knight Ursatron Alpha's effect in hand to special summon itself and search for a Ursarctic spell trap in the process. It's all one effect.
Okay.
So, special, then search for an Ursarctic spell trap, which I'll go ahead and grab a copy of Ursarctic Departure. Really nice that these cards are now searchable, because previously Ursarctic didn't have a reliable way to search them prior to the release of this card, post-Duelist Nexus. I will also, a resolution of that, pull a counter off of this to draw since an Ursarctic was special summoned from hand. Okay. I will then activate Ursarctic Departure, discarding a card from hand, which will be Crystal Girl. This is going to allow me to search for 2 Ursarctic monsters from deck to hand.
Go for it.
Okay. grab a Mega Billis. And we'll grab a Mictanus. So far, so good.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I will then activate the effect of Megapolar in hand by attributing Mictanus for cost to Special Megapolar.
That's fine.
Special Polar. Pull a counter off Radiation, which will allow me to draw a card. This card is kind of like, for those of you familiar with Utopia, or the Utopic deck, this card is akin to Xyz Change Tactics, another continuous spell where every time you summon Utopia Xyz, you just draw a card by paying 500 life points. Radiation is kind of like that for Ursarctic, but boy is it helpful. Alright, so we did that. Now we're going to do the Ursarctic, what I like to call the Ursarctic Special. We're going to reverse synchro using our level 8 tuner and our level 7 non-tuner to use the difference in their levels to synchro into a level 1 synchro monster, which will be a copy of Ursarctic Polari. I will activate the effect of Polari upon its synchro summon, or when it's special summoned, excuse me, because these cards actually can't be synchro summoned. First line of text on the card. But when it's special summoned, I can activate an Ursarctic Big Dipper directly from deck, which is the Ursarctic field spell. And then I will go Chainlink 2. I'm sorry, yeah. So made this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go Chainlink 1 Radiation to remove a counter and draw. And then I'll go Chainlink 2 Polari effect to activate Dipper from deck.
Go for it.
I do this backwards because I don't want to draw the Dipper off the Radiation. So Chainlink 1 Radiation, Chainlink 2 Polari, to change resolve backwards, so Polari will resolve first, activating Radiation from deck, and then I'll get my draw. That way I don't draw into Radiation and then Polari just kind of whiffs. So we'll activate Dipper, then I will shuffle, opponent will cut, and then I'll get my draw. Beautiful. Draw. Okay. Alright. Then I'm going to activate Ursarctic Slider. This allows me to target an Ursarctic monster that is banished or in my graveyard. Special summon it, but it cannot attack. Also destroy it during the end phase. My target will actually be the Megapolar.
Okay.
No response?
Nope.
Okay. Special Megapolar. That's going to put a counter on Big Dipper. So one thing I didn't mention about Big Dipper is whenever a monster is special summoned, whether that's on my side or his, we put a counter on Dipper. Once Dipper reaches 7 counters, at any point if I control an Ursarctic Synchro, when a monster will be special summoned, I can remove all counters from Dipper to then target that monster and take control of it permanently. In addition to that, Dipper, once per turn, can actually mitigate the cost of me having to tribute a level 7 or higher monster from hand to activate the effect of an Ursarctic by allowing me to banish an Ursarctic monster from my graveyard instead, which is pretty cool and it does come up a lot. So, for those of you wondering what the Ursarctic field spell does, I will then do the Ursarctic Special again, which is the reverse synchro, by synchroing using the difference in levels, to make our second level 1 synchro, Ursarctic Polar Star. That will then put another counter on Dipper, rounding that to 2 counters, and then I will use Radiation's effects, pulling a counter off of that, to get myself another draw. Okay. Now, Polar Star is brand new out of Duelist Nexus. It marks the second level 1 synchro that we have in the game. I will activate Polar Star's effect, which states I contribute himself and a level 8 Ursarctic monster from hand or field, to then special summon a level 7 Ursarctic synchro from the extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. But rather than actually tributing for that, I'm going to use Big Dipper's cost mitigation effect once per turn to banish a Ursarctic from grave instead, which will be the ultimate Bright Knight Ursatron Alpha, since it's always treated as an Ursarctic. So since I've mitigated my cost, Polar Star will resolve as if I, paid it properly, and that will allow me to special summon level 7 Ursarctic Synchro from my extra deck, completely ignoring summoning conditions, which will be Septentrion. That will put a counter on the Dipper, making it 3, and then I'll activate Radiation, pulling another counter to get another draw. Now, if that wasn't crazy enough, Polar Star grants the summoned monster an additional bullet point, which is, and if you do, it gains this effect. Your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters with a level that were special summoned from the extra deck. So it's kind of like a skill drain for any monster that the opponent special summons from the extra deck that has levels. In this case, being fusions and synchros. But Septentrion, if you know what he does, by himself, he's already a skill drain for any monster summoned from the extra deck without a level, which includes Xyzes and Lynx. So, in other words, because I summoned Septentrion off of the Polar Star, Septentrion is basically like a skill drain for the opponent's extra deck. Anything that they would summon, that whether it has a level or not, it's just negated and it cannot activate its effects, which is really cool. But anyway, we're going to keep things moving along here. I will then use Polar Star's effect again, because Polar Star actually isn't even once per turn, which is nuts. But this time I will actually tribute for it properly, tributing himself, and a level 8 Ursarctic monster from my hand or field, which will be Megapolar. And I will then special summon a level 7 Ursarctic Synchro monster from my extra deck, ignoring summoning conditions, which will be Grand Chariot, increasing Big Dipper by another counter. And then I will activate Grand Chariot's effect here, but I will chain Radiation in response, pulling the last counter off of it, and Grand Chariot, I'll target my own Radiation to attempt to pop. So Radiation changes all backwards. That was Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. So I will draw off Radiation, and then Grand Chariot will resolve to pop the Radiation from field. Now Grand Chariot was special summoned off of the effect of Polar Star, so Polar Star grants him the same bullet point that he gave Septentrion, which is basically monsters that the opponent special summons from the extra deck that have levels cannot activate their effects, which is pretty damn cool. I will then activate another Radiation from my hand, putting 7 counters on it again to rinse and repeat.
How many cards you got?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Alright.
I will use the graveyard effect of Crystal Girl. Since I control a level 5 or higher water monster, she can special summon herself from the graveyard, but banish her when she leaves the field. So I will special summon Crystal Girl, putting another counter on Dipper, rounding that up to 5 counters, and I will activate her effect, but I don't get to search till end phase. Kind of similar to a Bestial Magma. Upon more special, she allows me to add a level 5 or higher water monster from deck to hand during the end phase of the turn. Then, let's see here. How do I want to do this? Okay, yeah, that's interesting. I will then activate Ursarctic Megatanus in hand by tributing a level 7 or higher monster. So we'll go ahead and tribute to the McBillis, specialing Tannis, increasing counters on Big Dipper to 6, and then pulling a counter off Radiation to give us another draw. How lovely. Then we're going to properly synchro this time. Crystal Girl does get banished. We'll synchro for 10 into a copy of Baron de Fleur, putting another counter on Dipper, making it its 7th counter. Now, technically, Big Dipper continues to add counters to itself, but once we get to 7, adding more counters to it is kind of pointless. Like, it already has the 7, so if the opponent specials now, we can just pull all the counters off, minimum being 7, and then snatch steal his monster, which is pretty nice. So now we got Baron. Then I will set back row, And I think we'll go end phase. First things first. Let me just check my graveyard really quickly. Yeah, end phase. We'll resolve the effect of Crystal Growth, getting me a search for a level 5 or higher water monster. We'll grab a Mega Tannis. Then, you know what's crazy is I did all that and never once normal summoned that turn.
That's insane.
And then we'll go end phase effect on Radiation. During the end phase, as if drawing a bunch of cards wasn't crazy enough, during the end phase, I can target an Ursarctic card in my graveyard, accept a copy of itself, and then shuffle it into my deck. I will go ahead and target the Polar Star. Polar Star back in my extra. Now we'll pass to turn. Good luck.
Yeah.
So in other words,
all right. So speak. All right. What's going on here?
So before you even draw, let's talk about the sideboard because this is basically the creme de la creme for Ursarctic right here. So we got 7 counters on Dipper.
Right.
Because I control an Ursarctic Synchro, if you special summon anything,
you can target
I can choose. It's optional. I can pull all the counters off Dipper, target that monster, and steal it. Which is permanently steal it, which is nuts. Baron's obviously an Omni Negate. Fenrir is very annoying to deal with. Whenever you activate a monster effect at resolution, I can target any face-up card you control, banish it face down. Then I have Septentrion and Grand Chariot, both of which were summoned off of Polar Star, which means they have Polar Star's bullet point. So any monster that you special summon from the extra deck that has a level, in this case being Fusions and Synchros, cannot activate their effects. Then because Septentrion's on board, he makes it so that anything that's summoned from the extra deck that does not have a level just has its effects negated. And then Grand Chariot, something that doesn't come up often, but it can. Once per turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets an Ursarctic card I control, quick effect, I contribute a monster from my hand or field as cost to negate the activation. So he's kind of like your version of Total. He just prevents targeting from my Ursarctic stuff. Anything, even like if you like MST the Big Dipper and target it, I can attribute a monster as a quick effect to negate the activation, which is pretty cool. I can also use the field spell to mitigate the tribute cost by banishing one instead. And then I got 3 cards in hand, plus 2 unknown back row.
Alright.
Good luck.
Alright.
This is revenge for what you did to me for game 1.
Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and draw.
Oh yeah, why don't you? Judge? This is probably one of the most insane boards I've ever seen Ursarctic produce. So I'm actually glad that that was able to happen on camera so you guys could see that firsthand. Just scoop them up, bro. You lost.
It feels like it. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Maybe.
Oh, and then also, if you special summon anything, Septentrion triggers to search me an Ursarctic card.
Okay. Maybe we can do something. Maybe I don't know.
Your extra deck's got a giant padlock on it.
Yeah.
Anything you summon is basically just negated.
Alright, let's start things off. I'm gonna. Hold on. Let me.
even Edgar's like,
hold on.
even you're like, man, this is a crazy board, like.
Oh my lord.
And I never even normal summoned. That was like the most nutty part of that whole line. Ursarctic gave my opponent the sweats.
Alright. Well, we're gonna start things off by discarding Cornfield Coal to activate its effect to search.
So discarding Codal from hand to search for a monster that mentions Chimera Fusion.
Yes.
I'm cool with that. I'll allow it.
Probably the only thing you'll allow after that.
Whew! crazy.
I'll go ahead and grab Mirror Sword.
Sure.
Add it to my hand.
Absolutely. Yeah, Crystal Girl's a really cool tech card for this deck. What sucks is the fact that like I use Polar Star to make both of these, so it's like even if you can out one of them, you still got to deal with half of your extra like still being under lock and key.
Normal Sword Knight.
Okay.
Sword Knight effect.
Attributing itself to the special a monster from your deck that mentions Chimera Fusion. Yeah, that's cool.
Big Wing Berthmet.
Okay. Are you activating Berthmet's effect?
Thank you. Yeah, I'll go ahead and activate Big
Okay.
Berthmet.
Then, in response to that, I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to activate Cash Terra Fenrir. Because you use the monster effect, Sword Knight in this case, at resolution of that, you summon him. But I'm going to go Fenrir, targeting him to attempt to banish face down. And then, unless you have a response to that, I will also activate Septentrion's effect since they're special. I get to search.
I'll chain. Super cool. I got this card.
Yeah, pay your cost first. So what does super polymerization do for those of us who are not?
Well, I have to discard to pay cost, but it lets me fusion summon a fusion monster using from the extra deck using monsters from either field.
Okay.
And it's a spell speed 4.
Yeah, so neither player can respond to it.
So I'm gonna go ahead and set or discard Javier.
Okay. Yeah, I can't respond to it, so super poly resolves.
So I'll use these two.
To make what?
To make a rule.
Type in attribute. Yep. Cool. So Garua, Wings of Resonant Life. Requires 2 monsters with the same type and attribute but different names. That is... Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so then this chain resolves backwards, so I'm going to get my search off Septentrion. Which we'll go ahead and grab. What am I grabbing? grab a Mega Billis. And then Fenrir is going to resolve, banishing your Big Wing Berfomet face down. And then your Berfomet still resolves, because it did activate, to get yourself the search. So go ahead and cut. Nice play on the Super Poly.
Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna search a Gazelle.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm gonna grab Gazelle
Chimera Fusion.
and Chimera Fusion. That is fine. Thinking at resolution. I will activate the effect of Ursarctic Mega Billis in my hand, but I will mitigate cost by banishing Ursarctic Departure from my graveyard instead. Since Departure, I didn't bring that up, but it has a secondary effect where, except the turn it was sent to grave, if I were to activate an Ursarctic monster effect by tributing, I can banish this card from the graveyard instead.
Okay.
Tributing. So I will special summon Billis from my hand. And then I will activate Billis as Chain Link 1, and then Chain Link 2 will be Radiation to pull a counter off, putting it down to 5 to attempt to draw. Billis effect lets me... Actually, you know what? I think I might be... Yeah, can't activate Billis here, sorry, because I need another Ursarctic on field. That's fine. I'll just special Billis, pull the counter off Radiation, and still get my draw. Okay. So far, so good.
Carter's name?
4.
I'm gonna attempt to activate Chimera Fusion.
I will chain Baron to floor to negate and destroy it.
I'll chain Chimera Fusion.
Then I will chain Synchro Forceback. Another brand new card out of Duelist Nexus. States that I can target monsters on the field up to the number of synchro monsters with different names I control, in this case being 1, return them to the hand. I'll be targeting the Gorilla.
Ooh.
You're not getting the Guardian Chimera this time. Bounce Gorilla!
Yeah.
And I think unless you have a way to fuse into something, your second copy of Chimera Fusion fizzles. But you're not making a Guardian Chimera with it because you need a monster on the field for that. Synchro Forceback, let's go!
Wait a second. But if this comes back to my... Wait, I can fuse into this though, right?
What do you mean? No.
Yeah, like, so if this gets sent back into my extra deck, can I
Okay.
fuse into this if I can?
Well, no, because, I don't, can you make it? Is the material that
I
you
think
need?
so, yeah.
You think so or you know so?
Oh, let me make sure.
Because you're going to be using material from your hand specifically.
Yes! I can, actually.
Okay. Might have a bit of a ruling conundrum here, but I don't... If I chain Synchro Forceback and bounce it... Can you make it again? I guess, yeah. I don't see why not. Because the chain... Yeah, no, I think you can. I mean, They can roast us in the comments if that's incorrect, but if you can make Garua again, then make the Garua.
Because the reason I'm asking is because, like, originally, yes, I was going to use Garua to go into Guardian Chimera.
Yeah.
But you take him off the board, so that's no longer an option. But the fact that he's back in the extra deck,
you can fuse into it. Unless it has a clause where it states it can only be summoned once or whatever.
Nope.
Okay, yeah, then that's fine. Go ahead if that's what you're going to go into, but you still got to use material from hand.
Yep, so I'll use Gazelle, and I'll use Caddy.
Okay, so then make Garua.
They're both Earth, they're both beasts. So I'll go ahead and make Garua again.
Okay.
This goes.
So the second one resolved, the first one got negated and destroyed.
Right. And then
this goes to grave.
Because Gazelle, the King of Mythical Claws, is used as a fusion
Material, yeah.
I can add
Use the
illusion
graveyard
monster.
effect, so you can add an illusion monster from deck to hand. Yeah, that's fine.
So
Interesting turn of events.
I'll add. Cornfield Coddle.
Okay.
I think I already used this effect,
You did.
so I'll just keep it in my hand for now.
Okay. Man, this is a crazy live duel. I can't believe my opponent's really trying to play through this.
Trying to do something.
He's like, I ain't no bitch.
Alright.
Alright.
So far so good. And then at end phase, I'll
Oh, hold on, wait. Oh, so end of main?
Yeah, end of main. My bad.
Yeah, end of main. I got something. I'm gonna activate Ursarctic Slider.
Okay.
This states target an Ursarctic monster that's banished or in my graveyard, special it, but it cannot attack, also is destroyed during the end phase. I will special summon or target Mega Billis. Do you have a response?
No.
Special Billis. Then I will activate Billis's effect. If it's special summon while I control another Ursarctic, I can target a card in your graveyard and banish it. Let's go ahead and get rid of one of these lovely Chimera fusions. Okay. Still in the main. So now it's the ball goes back to you. Okay.
I'm trying to end it.
Okay, so then you go on end phase.
So at end phase, I'm gonna special summon
Puppy. Then on my end phase, or not mine, but the end phase, this one, radiation effect to target an Ursarctic card engraved and shuffle it back.
Okay.
Grand Chariot. Okay. So far so good.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will draw for turn. Anything on draw phase?
Nope.
Anything on standby?
Nope.
We'll go to main, where I will activate Kashtira Fenrir to add a Kashtira monster from deck to hand. Puppy doesn't trigger. I'm just searching.
Just looking, man. Yeah, that's fine.
I figured as much. What a game. Grab Fenrir. This feels so silly. Grab Fenrir off of Fenrir. Alright. Anything on res?
Nope.
Beautiful. I'm going to activate Baron de Fleur's effect. Target puppy to blow it up.
I messed up. That's fine. Yeah, I messed up. I should have. That's fine.
Oof, moment. Activate the effect of Bright Knight Ursatron Alpha Enhanced. Since I control an Ursarctic, I will special it and then search for a Ursarctic spell trap. Special. I will then search for a copy of Departure. that. Then I'll pull a counter off radiation to get me a draw. Okay, so far so good.
Mm-hmm.
I will then go the Ursarctic special to reverse sync into our Polar Star, pulling another counter off radiation to get a draw. Cool. I will then go Polar Star effect, but I will use the field spell to mitigate cost by banishing an Ursarctic from grave, which will be my Ursatron Alpha, and I will special summon a level 7 Ursarctic Synchro from the extra deck, ignoring summoning conditions. To special summon Grand Chariot. I will then activate Grand Chariot's effect on summon, targeting the Garua, and then I'll go Radiation Channeling 2 to pull a counter to draw another card. I will draw, and then Chariot will pop the Garua. And I think you have a great effect.
Garua effect, looking draw a card?
Yes.
Okay.
That is fine. And let's see here. Let's go. We'll synchro normally into a level 9 synchro. Ravenous Crocodragon Archidus, which upon its synchro summon lets me draw a card based on the number of non-tuners used as material, which in this case will just be 1. He also gains 500 attack for every card in my hand. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards in my hand. So that is a lot of attack. It's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. That's 5,000 attack on top of the 1,000 he already has. I'm going to attempt to leave main and enter the battle phase. 6,000 to the face. And Baron for game.
Got it.
We did it, boys! Ursarctic finally got their revenge. So that was game 2, guys. I know this was a longer duel, but that was insane. This was pretty much revenge for what Chimera Melffy did to Ursarctic in the first game. So we were able to force out a game 3. I'm going to leave a link in the description down below for game 3, as long as links in the description for game 1, and links for each deck profile being showcased here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the live duel. Like I said, we'll catch you in game 3. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. This is Nick, about to be hitting that end phase. We will see you in the next duel.